You're watching Hellbent Holler live, part of the Hellbent Media Network. Grab a drink, settle in, and get ready for the show.
Okay, I really love that new song. That is really awesome. Welcome to Hellbent Holler Live. My name is Busty T. Shackelford. I just had to add all that in there. First of all, before we get started, I want to thank Marcus Aurelius, my boy, for sending me this Busty T. Shackelford hat. I think it's freaking awesome, but I can't wear the yellow glasses all night, so glasses have got to go. But thank you, Marcus Aurelius, for the Busty T. Shackelford hat. You're awesome. All right. Let's see what's over here. All right. Welcome to Hellbent Holler Live. My name is Jesse. This is Joe. And we are not dead, which is good. That's a positive. We had the flu last week, and we were pretty much almost on death's door for a few days, but we are here. We are alive. We actually went out and had a little expedition a couple days ago. So we're doing okay. Joe still has a cough. Yeah. So he has the Ricolas that he will be consuming throughout the show. I have my hot tea. So we are okay. We are surviving.
The wet weather this weekend did not help.
It did not. It started raining on us while we were out there. So that didn't help much. I sound like a heavy smoker right now with my voice.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody. Yeah. So we're on the mend. We're doing okay. I heard that everybody else is pretty much sick as well. So you're in good company, everybody.
Well, it's weird because I don't do a lot on Facebook, but you can't get Martin Groves to send a text message to save his damn life. He's got an old flip phone. Mm-hmm. So sometimes I just get on Facebook to be able to touch base with him throughout the day because I don't want to call him and bother him. And I got on there and my feed is just nothing but, I don't even know who all's in the hospital at this point because I just looked at it and went, it looks like everybody's in the hospital at this point.
Yep,
everybody's
pretty
sick.
much. Everybody got sick and everybody has been just feeling it. So if you're sick, you're not feeling well, make sure you take care of yourself. Drink some hot tea, get some rest, sweat it out, do what you got to do. But you'll be all right. I hope you're all right. Good thoughts with you. We're on the mend. We're doing okay. Yeah. We've got a good little expedition planned for this week as well, as an addendum to the last expedition we did. And
we've actually got a couple of things that we've got going up. We're going out on the night of the solstice.
Yeah.
And then,
which is my birthday.
Which is her birthday. Her birthday's the night of the solstice, the longest, darkest night of the year.
So I was definitely
little
born.
Jesse was born. So, yeah. So.
But yeah, we've got a couple of things planned coming up for that, and we wanted to let you guys know we're definitely doing a show next Monday on Christmas Day evening. So if you guys are done eating and hanging out and bored, we will be here. We'll be doing a show. So looking forward to that. We'll have some fun. And you guys can show us all your cool gifts.
And we got no plans for it. We were thinking about doing because traditionally Christmas was a time for like ghost stories and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So we might try to get up some Christmas ghost stories because it's going to depend on what the turnout's like. Some people might be going, oh, I'm going to be doing family stuff. And then other people are going to be going, oh, by 7:30 at night, I'm going to be ready to kill my family and I need to get away from them. So this will be a good distraction. So we'll see how many people we've got, but
Martin goes,
sorry.
You go ahead.
No, go.
Martin goes, wow, unload tech, no text nor phones. Yeah, he's hard to get a hold of.
Anyway.
But yeah. So we've got some stuff planned, and we got some announcements here. We'll go through this. I know that we've been dying on the couch for a few days. However, I have a video released this week. I've got it ready and raring to go. It's done. It's pretty good, if I do say so myself. Joe hasn't seen it yet. Joe gets to watch it tonight and gives the final kind of watch through and make sure that it looks good. But I finished it and everything. So it will release Wednesday. YouTube's got a new thing that they're doing where you can do like a pipeline from members to the public. So we're going to test that out just because it's a new feature that YouTube is doing. So Wednesday, the members will have a release on this, and Friday there'll be a release to the general public. And
I think we're going to do a premiere like we did last time to the general public
on Friday. Yeah, so Friday there's going to be a premiere. I'm thinking 7:00?
Something like that.
7.
So members, you guys can watch it on Wednesday and then come back on Friday and jump into the premiere chat with everybody because that was a blast last time.
Yeah, so I had so much fun doing that. So we'll be doing that, and we'll go over all of that stuff and have fun. But
thank you, Catherine, for that. $10 super sticker out the gate.
Thank you, Catherine. But yeah, definitely keep an eye out. Wednesday, there will be a members only release of the latest video, and it's a banger. It's pretty good. It's good. It's interesting. It's kind of scary and weird. And I know
it's a continuation of the
members only video that I put out. High Strangeness in Moonshine Country.
But this one is the continuation of that. But we looked at it and we were kind of going, you didn't really need to see the first one to know what was happening. And what's wrong?
Nothing. Go ahead.
And we decided to do a members and public release for that. So everybody will be able to see that. So
yeah, so that's gonna be a lot of fun. You guys are gonna really enjoy it. Joe gets to watch it tonight. There we go. I had to turn my brightness up. I can't see. I'm old and I'm dying. All right, so somebody asked earlier, speaking of being old and dying, how old? Jesse, I will be 36. Joe thought I was 34.
I'm going to rethink some stuff, realizing that she's 2 years older. We're going to take this 1 year at a time from now on, just to see how you age. And,
but I'll be 36. I'll be 36. So, getting up there.
Anyway, Joey Ferguson had said just some housekeeping stuff that his mother's birthday was yesterday.
Happy birthday,
Happy birthday, Joey Ferguson's mom. So, Ivan Ramirez asked, do we have anything lined up for Blood Mountain in Georgia? Nothing lined up for that. Blood Mountain and that area. Now, we've been in that area before. It's one of those areas where we can go to when there's nothing really pressing. We've just got a lot of stuff, like hot stuff going on like right now.
Yeah.
We've got Martin's in here. I was talking to Martin Groves before I got home, and we were both just talking about the fact that everything seems like it's just the floodgates are open, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we're getting stuff like all across the board. Bigfoot, Dogman, paranormal stuff, UFOs, weird lights, just all sorts of just like everything constantly, like nonstop. And it's to the point now where we're even just kind of going, we're going to have to reevaluate how we kind of file some of this stuff. We're going to have to get a lot better at this because we're not used to this constant flood of stuff coming in. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on. there's a lot of stuff happening out there. So.
Yeah, and hopefully I'm lining up a really cool interview with a gentleman who is having Sasquatch activity, and I can do that interview and kind of add to that story and a continuation of that story and kind of fill it out a little bit. What has happened?
I don't know.
That's the camera. Not yet. Are we back?
Everybody see us? The gremlins. So.
Why? Why? Okay. All right. Are we here? Are we okay? Can you see us? I guess if you can see us on that one, we can.
We're back.
We're back. Welcome.
All right. So we're going to get to this in a second, too, when we're talking about interviewing these people, because I wanted to bring this up. And by the way, Darcy, thank you for becoming a member.
Thank you, Darcy Parks. That's awesome.
Andy Southpaw, thank you for becoming a member.
Thank you.
Matter of fact, the members are kind of why we got back to it as quick as we did, because we were going, gosh, we just launched memberships, man.
And now
we were out sick for a week. I was like, we got to get back out there. So it was good, though, because it kind of drove us to get back out to the field sooner than we normally would. Of course, my lungs hurt now. But one of the things we were talking about is doing these like witness interviews.
Yeah, this is something that we've not really done a lot of or presented a lot of these. We've really not filmed witness interviews. We've talked to a lot of people about their experiences. We've gotten a lot of leads from people contacting us, and we've interviewed them about their various experiences and what they've seen. But we've not really shared that with you guys. We've not really filmed these interviews. And to be honest, like we weren't really focusing on that kind of thing.
Because there's a lot of people that do interviews and interviews only. Okay. And that's good and that's valuable, but there's just people doing that already. And we were like, okay, our gig is going to be just, on foot field investigations in like active areas to see if we can document activity. But now we're starting to say that it might provide you all with better context in some of these times. Instead of us just telling you, a gentleman contacted us and said this, is that having some of these people actually recount their stories connected with our actual field investigations.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So we're starting to think that that we've kind of avoided that in the past because we knew that there were a lot of people doing it, but now we're going, hey, listen, this might actually be helpful in providing context to the investigations that we do. So we're going to probably start doing that a little bit more. Now, one of the things that we wanted to actually discuss with the Hellbender Nation tonight is
Hellbender Nation
is we need help with developing up some standardized questions to ask some of these witnesses above and beyond. Where were you? When did this happen? What did you see? What did it look like? How far was it from you? And I think given the really unique makeup of the Hellbenders, I think we can really kind of like push the envelope as far as like the information that we're gathering. Some of the stuff I was thinking about is, obviously you want to talk to them about whether they've had any sort of like weird paranormal or cryptid experiences in the past. What about your family? We've talked in the past that certain people seem like they attract this stuff more than others. And we're going, is it like something genetic? Is it something that's maybe like a different biological makeup where maybe they're just noticing it more often? Are they attracting it more often? So we want to try to get some really outside of the box questions to ask to really kind of try to further everybody's understanding of what's going on.
And even if this information may not seem pertinent to what's going on, maybe, if you come up with something that I know a lot of our viewers, a lot of our biggest supporters are nurses, and you guys know how to ask questions and know how to get information out of people. And even if it doesn't seem pertinent to, say, a Bigfoot story at the time, it could sort of mine out a little piece of information that could be handy down the road.
And I'm familiar with Steenberg's or Steinberg, however you pronounce his last name, his questionnaire. But we want to go beyond that because, again, we're weirder than all those people are. You know what I'm saying? And we're open to the fact that a lot of this is really weirder than an undiscovered primate and just a happenstance encounter with one. So people have always kind of brought up different, very unique things in the chat and even in messaging when we talk to you guys. So I want everybody to just kind of think about this. Think about some of the things that we can kind of ask that might be kind of like maybe not obvious, but very relevant, if that makes sense. Something that we can really dial in deeper to look for more patterns, to see if there's data that's not being collected by the standard, like BFRO report, where you talk about weather conditions, you know, how much ambient light there was, daytime, nighttime, time of the year. Just some real off the wall stuff that might uncover some breadcrumbs that everybody else is missing.
Yeah.
And I think that something like that's bigger than one or two people, but as a group, we've got a lot of skill sets and a lot of very imaginative people and a lot of very perceptive people and a lot of people with great intuition that join us on this stuff every week.
Yeah.
So we don't want to do it all in like the chat right now, but what I'm thinking of is think about a little bit of it. And I think the easiest way to do it would be what, like leave a comment?
Leave a comment on this video?
Yeah. Or reach out to us directly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Realize though that if you reach out to us directly, it might be a little bit before we can get back to you. But just kind of put your thinking caps on. Again, some of the stuff that's come up in this chat has been brilliant stuff that you don't hear other researchers or investigators talk about. Just really neat stuff that has come up in the chat. You know what I'm saying? And now what we're looking for is stuff like, and I just saw that you had starred one, I think.
I've been starting a bunch of them in case they start to come out and start to.
Of course, Martin's got a list of 5 questions that no one's asked a first-hand witness and will not seem like an interview. That's a boy. Here's another good one. You know what I'm saying? Not sure, but I wonder if asking, what state of mind were you in? Were you thinking about before your experience took place? Okay. Here's another one. What is your religious affiliation or basic core spiritual beliefs? Have they ever used a Ouija board before? Have you ever dabbled in the paranormal? Stuff like this. What was your childhood like? Any family detachment or odd cases of people missing or dying? Exactly. You guys are already, how about questions about physical symptoms, experiences, headaches? It's perfect. Exactly stuff like this.
This is the direction
we want to have this standardized where obviously we can change it depending upon the circumstances and depending upon what the encounter was that this person had. But stuff that goes beyond and just above the normal questions that people get asked.
Format.
Because I'm pretty damn sure that there's patterns out here that all of us are missing because we're getting focused just on the what did it look like, you know, the sensational details of it, these little nuggets of gold that are through there. So I want everybody to kind of think about stuff like this, and you guys can obviously discuss it in the chat, but anything that you guys...
I've started a bunch of stuff. I will kind of write all these down and get these out. So. Yeah,
so Kim Drescher said add a survey in the community section. So just everybody kind of think about that. Just kind of think about it, maybe just put some thought on it. And, but again, I think that we've got such a weirdly diverse group of people that watch this channel.
Yeah.
And a lot of you, we've got some people that are into this and watch a lot of cryptid stuff on like YouTube and do a lot of this. We have a lot of people that are in this that really don't get involved in the greater like cryptid sphere. You know what I'm saying? They always tell us like, hey, you're the only show we watch.
And they might have some sort of outside perspective.
Outside the box thinking that
isn't really completely biased by Facebook groups or other channels or other people's approaches to the subject.
We are talking about starting to incorporate and sharing some. We talk to these people and we interview them, but we think that it can be done better and it can be done more thorough and it can be done more standardized. And then kind of share those results And of course, we're not going to be sharing their actual home address or their names or anything like that, but share some of this with you all, because again, I think we were discussing it when we were talking about some interviews we need to set up, and we were going, gosh, we interview people, and I think we do an okay job of it, but I think that there's stones that we're leaving unturned at this point. And I think we need to kind of dial in more. And that's when the idea of kind of making this a community project, instead of just us sitting down and thinking that we know everything, let's reach out. And like Jesse said, half of y'all are freaking nurses, man. So maybe there's some things about medical conditions, psychological state of mind, anything like that might come in handy.
Sugi had an interesting thing concerning medical conditions. I'm going to throw that up there. Just give me one. Where are you, Sugi?
Stuff like this, you need to ask if they've had experimented with the occult.
Where is it? There you are, Sugi. All right, here we go.
The smell disease, yes.
I've always wondered if Dogman can smell disease in people, like dogs can smell cancer or other medical conditions. If so, did or does the witness have any medical conditions?
Yeah, that's awesome.
So there's a lot of really cool things that you guys are already throwing out here. Somebody mentioned Way the Sploot, I believe it was one of my favorite usernames. Way the Sploot mentioned, putting something up in the Discord. I will start a thread on that in Discord, and we can kind of just throw that conversation there. The members Discord, we can have that discussion there, kind of hash some stuff out.
And then everybody else, just like leave a comment. If you come up with it, leave a comment on this video. That way we've got them standardized. Everything's there. Everything's in one spot. And relax, bad day adventures. What? I'm late. The Iceland eruption started. Is Iceland getting buried in lava right now? So
Merry Christmas. Is that what's happening?
It just started up, yeah. Volcano erupts. Wow, all right, man. Oof.
Way the Sploot has an interesting one here. What other interviewers have you spoken with? So who else have you told the story?
Yeah, that's another one too, is that that's the other thing you get into as well, that sometimes you have people, and the more they tell that story, do they just get, and that's one of the things.
Does it develop?
Does it develop?
Does it change?
Or do they just now it's a story they tell, and it's old hat to them, and they tell the same story. But that's why I want these questions, is that if there's details that maybe they don't think are important at the time, might end up matching with other cases that we get. And that small things that we don't think are important might be a common thread between two possibly seemingly dissimilar cases.
Most importantly, Flirting with Disaster says, have you had a bowel movement today?
Exactly right. So
the levity to the situation. Marcus Aurelius says, you have to understand that information gleaned today that seems unknown or relevant today may be substantiated down the road by other testimony and or research. Nothing should be dismissed out of hand.
Absolutely right. And thank you for that, Marcus, by the way.
Yes, that is absolutely right.
And well, the other thing too is that it might be just a little something that they don't think is, and Martin's on here, and I hope I can speak for him, but Martin Groves, I think that we both, when like we were talking about his case, started to realize that the sounds that he heard were maybe more important, because on the whole of his story, that seems like a fairly
that's the least sensational,
because everything else is crazy
and
going on,
exciting
but then you start to realize, whoa, there's parallels between that and missing 411 cases,
the Tom Bigfoot
cases. Exactly right. So I think that there's other people out there who might just go, well, yeah, I heard a weird noise, but that's not important. And no, it actually is. It actually is. No, I just want to tell you about this Dogman encounter that I had. No, let's also dial into this as well, and that's what I want to do. So I think that we have enough brain power here. And this is Julie Bug's got the perfect thing of what we're going for. You kind of need questions like from a doctor, investigator, paranormal, cryptid, all into one group of questions. Exactly. Yeah. Something that tries to be as cross spectrum as possible.
Yeah. And maybe have like a standard set that maybe guides your subsets and how you kind of go into the other routes. I mean, we're not going to ask somebody 500 questions, but maybe those initial assessments could guide us through the rest of it,
Rev has talked about dates of encounter in relation to exactly. Celestial events or basic astrology. Now, Hawkins said, please do not add road names of where the location is. I've tracked down exact properties where other researchers have shared just by talking to individuals. Yeah, we are very cautious on that. Actually, Jesse had to blur something out on the latest video that we're doing because it could have been possible told us where we were. Yeah, it got doxed us where we were at.
Now they're gonna look for it.
Well, they just can't find it. You've done a thorough job. So,
but you better have.
You better have. But
some Streisand effect there. You know, I know I make this reference at least once a week. One of my favorite shows is True Detective, season 1. And that's one of the things that Matthew McConaughey's character does is he's got that notebook. They call him the tax man because he's got that notebook. And he makes sketches of every crime scene. And he writes just very thorough notes constantly. And it's because there's always that, sometimes there's this one little tiny little kernel, this little nugget of information that's there on the page that you can go back to months later. And it might be the one thing that breaks the case. So even if it seems completely innocuous, completely just useless information, perhaps it's not down the road. Perhaps the pieces kind of come together and that's the missing piece.
And see, this is something that Sheila stated it better than I did, but it'll obviously be tailored to each individual witness because like Sheila says, the interview needs to unfold organically with consideration of the witness's personality. So yeah, not every single question would be used with every single person, but to have that kind of arsenal ready and then just as it unfolds, see if we can use them to dial down in a little bit more.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing too, is that if nothing else, you know, what we see a lot with this stuff is that people start doing this, they start doing the investigations, they start doing the quote unquote research, they start doing all this stuff and they think they're experts at it. You know what I'm saying? And we're not experts at it. We're pretty good at certain things, but at the same token, we as a group, we have 250 people here right now in this chat. And I guarantee you that we can't sit down, just Jesse and I, and come up with a 1/10 of what the group as a whole can. And people will bring up stuff that we never thought of going down that path with.
Of course.
And then we start seeing the usefulness in it, you know, the value to it. So if anybody's up for it, and if you guys have a few minutes, I know the holidays are crazy, but if you've got a few minutes, or maybe there's something that as you have listened to paranormal, UFO, Bigfoot, Dogman encounters, you've always gone, I remember one person saying this and it always stuck with me. I wondered if other people have experienced that as well and just not reported it. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
So please, anything you have, leave in a comment when the video's done so that way we have them all together and that way we can kind of start to build this a little bit.
Robert Randolph has an interesting one here. Question, why did you come forward with your encounter?
Yeah.
You know, somebody's motivations for coming forward can really shine a lot of light on their personality, their motivations, what they're looking for here. And that answer could determine if you would take somebody's entire situation completely seriously too. It seems like there's a lot of people out there who share encounters who seem very fantastic. And then it sort of like changes and alters and they're very particular about sharing it constantly, but then it doesn't seem to have any sort of like PTSD sort of effect on them. You know, when Martin Grove shares his experience, there's a physical...
It's just the Martin Grove show tonight, huh? So
there's a physical reaction that is completely involuntary that comes from him. When he shares his encounter, you can look at him and he begins to tremble, he begins to sweat at certain parts during him telling this encounter. It's not just a casual conversation where you're discussing like baseball statistics or the weather. So yeah, that could be very informative about somebody's maybe ulterior motives for entering into this.
Red Wolf had one as well that actually, it's interesting because I actually jotted this down today. See if they notice any behavioral changes in any animals in the area, wildlife, livestock, pets, etc. I'd seen an article that I bookmarked within the past year and then kind of forgot about it and stumbled back across it, where UFO researchers especially were looking into that. You know what I'm saying? You know, the effects on animals, you know, livestock and wildlife, pets, before, during, and after UAP encounters. And then I'm going, you know, that could be pretty much applicable to pretty much any sort of like high strangeness that we look into.
For sure.
Yeah. And like Lady Wolf says, Body language says a great deal, you know, and that's the other thing too is that people deal with, you know, the nurses, which is probably out of 250 people, probably 125 of them on this.
We do seem to resonate.
We get a ton of nurses, man. It's awesome. Do you know what I'm saying? So when something had happened, I think you were sick, and then all of a sudden I just started getting all these emails going, all right, here's what you need to do. You know.
You know what it is. It's the Helmet Health Division.
Helmet Health Department. We need to cultivate that. So in case like one of us gets like takes a claw one night or something like that, you know, like gets clawed up.
Or develops a crippling opioid addiction.
Well, just, you know, I was saying, you know how like in the movies there's always that guy they go to, or like all the mobsters and the hitmen always have that one, you know, doctor who lost his medical license who operates out of his basement or something like that. You know,
we used to have a guy like that.
We did,
but
now,
the Greeks.
Yeah, but like I said, now we need like to build our nurses division. So that way we've got, you know, we can get underground medical care if we get injured and don't want to go to the authorities.
He's like it has to be a veterinarian now.
Yeah. So anyway, I digress.
There's like a one swinging light bulb. He's smoking a cigarette, stitching you up.
Eric Vasquez is on here tonight. Hello, Eric Vasquez. I haven't seen you in a while. All right, so be right back. Time to put my gun on her ventilator. And I don't even know whether she's joking or not.
No, she's not. She's not at all.
And Marcus has got a good point. After you get the basic from an interview, that's when the deep dive into more detailed questions.
For sure. Yeah. I think that for most of our subjects, it's going to be a multi-interview process. Because that's another thing too, is we're getting to know them. They're getting to know us as well. You know, a lot of people are not entirely ready to open up to a set of strangers about something so traumatic and something that they experienced like that.
Oops.
So they're not necessarily ready to open up to a set of strangers about every detail about what happened.
Well, and here's the thing too.
Or how it made them feel, or their medical history.
And again, we interview people, we talk to people, we do everything like that. It's always been to just kind of further the field investigation. So that's what this will continue to be. But I'm looking at it just going, a lot of people, I guess I had an epiphany, you know, where a lot of people that take witness stories and witness encounters and then especially present them to the public, a lot of times they're just honing in on those sensational details. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going, I think that we need to, at least for our own stuff, start to dive in deeper than maybe what's commonly happening right now. What's commonly occurring. And the other thing too is that we know.
You mean that Hellbent Holler is going to take it 10 steps further?
10 steps further. So, but the other thing too is that having these questions ready, because like Bristol talks about, he touches upon it, fear and nervousness can sometimes display the same body language as deceitfulness. That in people, a lot of these encounters, even if it's not violent, are traumatic because they've either had their entire, like, you know, they've had their entire worldview kind of like shaken at this point. And it's kind of like an ontological shock. Their world has been turned upside down, even if nothing violent happened. And, you know, that's very traumatic for people a lot of times. And sometimes people, you know, they express their trauma differently if you can get them to talk about it. So that's another thing too, is that I think having like a different range of questions and being able to dive down deeper and deeper and deeper and go down some avenues that maybe are normally left are going to be really, really, really handy dealing with people that have gone through these sort of experiences.
I think so too. Yeah. Robert Randolph asked, for safety's sake, do you think it's best to do interviews on the phone or in a public place?
A lot of these people will talk to us on the telephone, obviously, but a lot of these people don't want to go into public and talk and have other people. We are already developing up a better protocol for going into shady situations to do some of these. We're kind of setting the stage. It's basically what we've been doing, but
formalizing it
and ramping it up even more and dialing down to a greater level of detail and starting to try to think outside the box more. Again, I always tell people that I think we're just two normal weirdos. We're not ex-Navy SEAL, Dogman hunters. We're not, ex-FBI agents, you know what I'm saying? But I think if there's anything that we're good at is thinking outside the box.
Yeah.
And sometimes that thinking outside the box is drawing upon other people's thoughts that are outside the box as well. So
yeah, we have protocols in place right now. We're kind of developing more when it comes to like our safety. We're very particular about our safety because if we're dead or, you know, locked in a shipping container underground, we can't really do this channel anymore.
That happened in our state not too long.
Yeah,
a couple years ago.
That happened. So
people in a shipping container.
But yeah, so we do have protocols right now. It is kind of dangerous to meet strangers and discuss weird things with them. But we have protocols in place right now, and we're developing more as we go. Just, you know, so if you have plans on kidnapping and murdering me or anything, we have plans.
We got to fail safe.
I won't be coming alone.
So Dewey had that touched upon, is there anything else you forgot to mention? And you notice that like when you watch David Paulides interview people, Missing 411, that's
He's
one of the things.
It's
one of the things he says is he goes, is there anything else that we haven't discussed that you feel that I might need to know?
Yeah.
You know? So stuff like that. And I put this up a second ago too, but Sheila Eveline was like the nurse investigator for her state board. So
there you go.
Sheila, we're gonna be reaching out to you probably.
One little thing, Kim Drescher, I hope you feel better. She's got a little migraine hanging.
Oh, Kim, I hope you feel better.
Kim, I hope you feel better. Get some rest, and we'll be seeing you soon. 7 systems. If a witness has been on more than 5 shows, they are disqualified. How about that? Well,
there is and let's just all be honest here, and I've talked about this in the past. We had a lady that was just north of us that claimed that remember the lady whose horses were being attacked?
Yes.
And she said that something was coming in and attacking her horses.
She had a very detailed story.
She had a very detailed story. She needed help desperately, And so I started talking to her, and I'm just like, listen, we can come in and we have the ability and we have the equipment that we can come in and we can, if there's something on your property, unless it's something, we'll catch it. We'll catch it. We'll be able to find it. If you're saying this is happening with the frequency that it's happening, we have thermal, night vision, full spectrum, game cams. We have an array of instrumentation that we actually know how to use. All sorts of stuff. We can figure it out. Okay. And she supposedly had a big chunk of land too. Mm-hmm. And I'm going, and then if that's the case too, we can try to take the damn thing down, you know, if that's what's going on with it. Well, you know, as the conversation kept going with her, it turns out that she was faking the story and she didn't expect people like us to be nearby, because we were close enough that it was an easy drive.
And offer to investigate.
And then go, no, we can actually do this. She had a podcast that she was just enamored with, and she wanted to use that story to get on the podcast.
So that she could talk to the host.
Talk to the host, because she had a thing for the host.
She's all horned up for the host.
All horned up for the host. But that happens, and we all have to be aware of that. And you can...
And it's not a matter of, you know, I know that there's a lot of stigma when it comes to this kind of stuff. And there's people that have stories and people in their lives, their loved ones, their coworkers, they can't talk about their stories with these people. We're not talking about that. We're talking about just like this example that Joe just gave.
And the other thing too is that if you look at, again, Martin Groves, it's just going to be the Martin Groves Show. Change the title when we're done, the Martin Groves Show. Martin Groves is a man on a mission now, okay? He kept quiet about this for all these years until he retired out of law enforcement. He's been doing behind the scenes research, and now his thing is people need to know what the hell's out there. Okay. Mm-hmm. People need to know what is out there. He's a man on a mission to try to spread awareness so people know what is going out there, what they could potentially run across. Okay. If we could get Martin on like national television like every damn night, I'd be like, you need to do this because you know your mission that you're on. You know what I'm saying? But Martin also doesn't approach it as if he is a celebrity. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm a cryptid celebrity. You know, he doesn't approach it like that.
Yeah.
He's a person that's just like, listen, and he even says those words, let me tell you my history so you know that I have law enforcement training, so that my attention to detail, how that came into handy, and what I'm able to tell you right now, part of the reason why I'm able to convey the story is because of the training I had, and that allowed me to get out of that situation alive. Otherwise, he's about as humble as a dude you ever met in your entire life.
Right.
But we all know those cryptid celebrities, man.
Marcus Reyes has an interesting point here. He said,
Sorry,
That's okay.
I was killing that comment.
Marcus Aurelius has an interesting thing here. It says, one thing I wanted to tell you, that if someone sells a false story to you, that's on them. Only exposes who they are, not reflective on you guys. It's important for the interviewer to do their due diligence. I'm actually quite a good detective. It's a hobby of mine to dig into little...
What did I say about, like, when I was talking to Lady Wolf, and I was like, Jesse's the nosiest damn person I've
I'm the
met.
nosiest person. So I do my due diligence when it comes to digging into certain people and certain things. I think as an interviewer, as an investigator, that's part of your job as well.
Mhm.
One problem that we do have with this sensationalism that goes on with a lot of the cryptid stuff is people are constantly looking for content. Everybody's very content driven. That's what leads to clickbait titles, clickbait, thumbnails with the screaming and the crying and the gnashing of the teeth. But if you want to be a serious investigator, you want to be a serious journalist and really do this, you have to do your due diligence to look into these people. Now, somebody's going to slip through the cracks, of course, every now and then. You have, you have award-winning journalists who have been lied to and been taken.
Oh yeah, and here's the deal.
It happens.
Well, I've talked about that as
you
far
have
as
to at least try.
that hardcore, that just skeptic, just a-hole that we all know. It was just not just, hey, I just want to make sure that I ask questions because I know that there's frauds out there. But those people that just dismiss everything and are very snide about it.
Yeah, you don't
and
want
there's
that
feeling of I'm better than you. Let me just completely just wreck your story. I don't ever want to get to that point. And quite honestly, not being that dismissively skeptic means you're going to fall for a hoax every once in a while.
Yeah.
I would rather fall for an occasional hoax, learn from it, move on, and then yet fall for yet another hoax down the road than have somebody afraid to come forward with a legit story.
It's better that 100 guilty men walk free
Exactly
than one
right.
innocent man suffer.
There we go. So, but it's okay. I would rather deal with some hoaxes than have people not willing to come forward with their stories.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
That's all there is to that.
That is true.
And now keep in mind too that when we were talking about the sensational stuff, we try to present stuff in an entertaining manner. You edit exceptionally well, and even these shows tonight, we try to at least have fun with the topic because you can present the best evidence in the world, and if it's boring as hell, nobody's going to pay attention to it. Why'd you even bother? You know what I'm saying? So,
Very serious, snooty, affluent cryptid hunters. We will be taken seriously.
Anyway, so Ivan Ramirez had asked if you'd had any thoughts of mimicking the weeping lady.
No.
No, we have not thought of that. Dewey, the Deucer's got like a nice call blasting unit that he's got that I guess you can load custom sounds on, not just like the preloaded animal noises. The only thing is that I often look at that and I go, it does still sound kind of mechanical. If these things are smart.
Would that be kind of the same thing as like whooping at the...
Yeah, but at the same token,
whooping?
I would like to introduce some novel noises.
Yeah.
The crying baby thing's has always been something that entertains.
What would be a novel noise that you would be interested in?
Well, the crying baby thing is big. I mean, we introduce novel EMF and like RF stuff out there now with like the beacon that we use.
Yeah.
So
but what like novel noises, like clown shoes?
That's exactly right. Clown shoes.
Clown shoes.
All right. Let's see what else we got here.
What if that was the thing that everybody's just trying call blasting and trying babies crying.
That's clowns.
And like dying rabbits and all kinds of stuff, but clown shoes is the one thing. Like they just come, like the Bigfoot just come running out of the forest. Just they hear, and they're out there for you. Crack the
serious
tire.
researchers here. Anyway, so all right. I'm going through to see what else. Anybody else got anything?
Spooktator Bob says, I think you two need your own show, Jesse and Joe. You both have it. You work hard, you're motivated, you live it, you breathe it, you're dedicated, you're go-getters. Spooktator Bob, you're watching our show. No.
He's talking about TV.
I know.
Whenever we get contacted, and it's mostly Jessie because obviously she's more photogenic than I am. So
you've got great hair though.
I've got great hair though. One of the things that comes up early on with a lot of these is we don't want to do anything that would hurt our credibility down the road. You know what I'm saying? I know some people are just like, I want to get on TV no matter what. We don't. You know what I'm
And
saying?
we've mentioned to you guys like the weird offer I got for a Bigfoot dating show.
But it's always just like, we don't want to do anything that would potentially hurt our credibility down. So the right exposure is great. The right exposure means that more doors open up to you. You get a higher level view on what's going on out there. You have the ability to go into areas that were maybe previously closed off to you, talk to people that previously were not available. That's great.
It opens up like doors that maybe you couldn't get to independently.
But then you don't also want to be that person. You know what I'm saying? You know, that you've now become a laughing stock and you've turned the topic into a laughing stock just to get on television. So, so if the opportunity ever presented itself to do something seriously, that'd be awesome.
That'd be awesome, but with a lot of caveats on, you know, because I'm very protective of what we do. I'm protective of, and I don't like the idea of someone else having control over my image.
Although that one thing where they were going to have you the monster,
my approach,
the monster truck sounded awesome.
The monster truck was cool just because I wanted to drive a monster.
They were going to put Jesse with a team called American Monster Squad, and they were going to travel around the country looking into cryptid stuff.
But in a monster
truck. Monster truck. And I was just like,
I don't care.
You've got to do this. I'm just sorry. You've got to do this.
I don't care. My integrity is, it costs a monster
truck. It costs at least a monster truck. So
that's the price.
But
anyway. I'm in an American flag bikini driving the monster truck.
Yeah, exactly. So
that sounds awesome.
Cowboy hat on. So
sign me up.
COVID hit and that pipe dream went away.
Sign me up. Oh, I know we're on a kick while he dies over there.
Excuse me.
I want to do a little mail call thing. We got a couple of things on the P.O. box. We kind of missed doing it because last week we were again dying on the couch. But we actually got a lovely package from one of our members and viewers, Leslie. It included cool stickers.
That's going to come in. That's going to show you why in a second. Cool little like Hellbender stickers. That was awesome. And then she included the piece to
sent us a Christmas card, but also a wooden cow skull that she chalked and burned herself. It says Hellbent Holler. Can you see that? Look at that, guys. Now, the most important part about this little ornament. Bigfoot Bouncers 2023.
That was what, last month? They were the Bigfoot Bouncers. So
Bigfoot Bouncers. I loved it. And Marcus Arias, he sent me this cool Busty T. Shackelford hat, which I've been wearing with my glasses. I get a lot of looks at the Publix, which is okay. I don't want people to talk to me at the Publix. But he also sent me this really amazing amethyst. And that is going into my office. I'm setting up my office finally. And that is going in my office on my desk. It's so beautiful. Thank you, Marcus Aurelius. I love it. That is for the good vibes while I'm working. I appreciate it so much.
Robert Randolph had asked, are your interviews going to be for all cryptids, Bigfoot? Well, it's going to be dependent upon. We get contacted from people all over the country.
We get the gamut of experiences, from ghost experiences,
everything,
feral people experiences, Bigfoot, Dogman, even some weird stuff that there's no name for yet, or any sort of like approximation for yet. It's just these, like the thing with the hello, you know, by the duck hunting.
Mm-hmm.
That was the creepiest thing I've ever heard in such a short little story. But yeah, so it's these things that have no approximation for. So pretty much anything. We're in the business of the weird. We're in the field of the weird. And the more we do this, the more it seems like it's all connected or coming from the same place, or in some way controlled by the same thing, or just somehow related. So we're open to everything. We're not specifically interested in just Bigfoot, ghosts, or anything like that. Pretty much anything that's weird and doesn't make sense and kind of makes you scratch your head when it happens.
Montoya had asked, do cloud bursters attract UFOs? Would you add a cloud buster to your arsenal of tools? Can you buy cloud busters? Did somebody out there make them, or could you have to?
That seems a little illegal, doesn't it? I've been busting clouds all over the place.
If he's talking about the one that's usually called orgone energy or something like that, other than that existing, and I know there's some other little things about that inventor that we won't get into. But anyway.
Be going to the flea market, busting clouds.
That, let me see.
Your nephew's birthday party. Gender reveal parties. Are you going down a...
No, well, the guy that did the Cloudbusters, Wilhelm Reich, and he had some big thing about how like that the energy that was released during the moment of like orgasm could be harnessed and used for like stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's all I remember about that.
So from Bigfoot bouncers to Bigfoot boners, welcome. I don't want an ornament that says Bigfoot boners. Yes, I do.
Yes,
Somebody suggested a shafar for like a novel sound as we're talking about.
We've got that. I just
Sugi sent us a.
I'm trying to figure out how to blow the
shofar.
damn thing. Like I'm having trouble trying to blow it.
Mr. Missing in Action Stingray said that there's like a mouthpiece you can get.
Yeah, I need to find that. So
blow that shofar and harness that big O energy.
The big O energy. Stephen Taylor had popped in. He was, is there any local lore that you have not investigated? We have not really done anything with the Lizard Man of Skateboard Swamp.
We keep talking about
That's right down the road. We keep getting pulled off to other, because as far as I know, we were hearing stuff that was going on down in that area, but not a lot. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't seem like it's that active of an area nowadays. So we keep having places with like current, recent activity.
We have to do it though. Like
Yeah.
we kind of have to do it to. I mean, poor Lizard Man. He's always a bridesmaid, never a bride.
Never a bride. So.
But we kind of have to do it because it's the big cryptid for our state. It's well known,
Mhm.
even though there's not been a lot of sightings as of what.
Nuts Life said he wanted a Helmet Holler Todd Standing interview. We could probably get that extremely easily. You could probably get that extremely easily. I think all it would take is Jesse just going, "Hey Todd, you want to hop on my show one night?" And then it would just happen at that point. What we need to do though is get everybody into the joke. So all the hellbenders are just on there going, "So great to have you here, Todd. It's great." We all, just everybody comes.
Somebody's gonna spill the beans about the women's suits.
Spill the beans. So.
Beans.
All right. What is a cloudbuster? It is a. Let's see if I can pull up the. It was all into like orgone energy, which is something that he thought was
Like the Orgone pyramids.
It's basically like it was just this weird esoteric kind of thing that was in the ether. And basically he could use it to affect like clouds.
Can I see the cabinet with the door open?
What are you talking
You had that on that thing you just had. We're getting distracted here. It was a cabinet. It was an Orgone energy accumulator.
With the door, yep.
You sit in it?
You sit in it.
I ain't sitting in that thing.
Yeah, I said it. Wilhelm Reich.
I'm gonna be going out of here. That's the show, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night. Good night, everybody.
I'm trying to go through the chat here. I'm so behind on the chat. Reich, yeah, Wilhelm.
Sugi goes, not to be crass, but I have heard female Bigfoot witnesses reporting that the Bigfoot was aroused. There is a very famous.
You're not going back to that thing we talked about the other week, are you? Where we had to go into.
No, not that. So,
all right, that's why I was like, once is enough for that story.
This one was the Redwoods. Yeah, the Redwoods case. It was Anna Marie Goddard. She was a Playboy playmate, and they were out doing a shoot. She was on an RV, and they saw she had probably the best look of it, but everybody in the RV, at least in the back, saw it, and it was aroused, pretty visibly aroused at that point. Which obviously, and she even said, she goes, that doesn't help my credibility with this story. It makes it even sound more like a joke. Playboy Playmate, I'm seeing a Bigfoot, he's aroused. But she goes, that's what happened. Yeah. So she was self-aware enough to know that reporting that detail kind of hurt the credibility of her story, but she was still going, that's just what happened, man. So
X says, might call you guys in for help on this Wendigo thing.
I was trading some messages with him. Orgone energy, yes. William S. Burroughs was also into orgone energy. Now we need to have a show on orgone energy, but try not to get into the orgasm stuff so we don't get kicked off YouTube. So
I think you can talk about that on YouTube. I think that's in the clear.
He has an orgone triangle. How's that?
Wait, isn't that like an orgone pyramid with a pyramid with all the doodads and gewgaws in it?
This is outside my realm of knowledge. I don't know a lot of stuff.
I have a friend that makes those.
Okay, yeah. I don't know. That's outside my...
That should be in my realm, but that's even a little beyond what I'm familiar with. I've seen them. I've seen them at the health food store and various locations.
Asked about the Discord earlier. I think it was Ghetto Yeti. We'll post another link to it there. I've been in it a lot more. I was MIA on it at first, but I've actually been in there. So I know that the Discord's not for everyone. So, but those of you who are looking to do the Discord, we can have some conversations in there about stuff that we normally couldn't have on YouTube or even like with private messaging and stuff like that.
Timothy Bladden says, Lizard Man is in South Carolina. I'm sure you know that. Was considered a hoax in the 80s. Joe had kind of a weird little aside about that.
Yeah, I told the story before, but obviously we're big knife people. And so we're constantly like buying and selling knives and stuff like that. And like a piece of equipment comes up we want. If we need to, we'll sell some knives off to get it. You know, a lot of times you get knives. Some of the ones you beat to hell. The other ones just kind of set in the drawer. They gain in value. You sell them, buy your equipment, whatever. So I was doing a knife deal on Facebook, on a Facebook knife group with this guy who lived near Skateboard Swamp. And in the process of doing this, you obviously want to check each other out. So that way one's not scamming the other one. You know, I send him money. He doesn't send the knife or vice versa. So he had looked on my page and I don't have a lot of stuff on there, but I've got like a little bit of Bigfoot stuff on there. And he, had asked what we did, and I said, oh, hey, you know, actually, we're Bigfoot and paranormal, like, investigators, I guess you could call us. And he goes, oh, well, you know, I'm down near where the Skateboard Swamp is. You've ever heard of the Lizard Man? I'm like, I'm very familiar with it. We just haven't looked into it. And he goes, well, don't bother. It's all fake. Like, my uncles or something were involved in the hoax for it. Everybody down here knows it's a hoax. Just don't even bother looking for it. I'm like, cool. All right. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. So we did the knife deal. I had sent him the knife he purchased off of me. He was really happy with it. And he comes back and we were talking and he's like, hey, it arrived. Thank you. All right, I hope you enjoy it, whatever. And then he goes, by the way, you know, I did want to tell you, I didn't tell you the entire truth earlier, that the Lizard Man, we didn't hoax it, but we tell people we hoaxed it because we don't want like crazy, like monster hunters down here running around, you know. We don't want like sightseers. Now it's changed since then because actually in the interim, since I had that conversation with them, they actually had a Skateboard Swamp Blizzard, like a festival, because we got asked to attend it.
A diner.
Yeah, and so, but he was like, we've always had this thing of trying to downplay it so we don't get overrun with it. But I guess now, like a lot of small towns, they're capitalizing on their local cryptid. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what's true. Was he telling me the truth earlier, or you know, and then just trying to yank my chain, or was he telling me the truth at the end? I don't know. But we need to go out and check it out.
And I think we've discussed this before, but little factoid.
Factoid for you.
The casts are in the local museum and they're displayed up top a pile of butter beans. So if you get that question on Jeopardy, the answer is, what is butter beans? Robert Randolph asks, any plans of a public map showing the location of the reports you receive? No. Because
we may visit those areas and we have a hard enough time with, and I guess everybody does. I mean, we have our own unique set of difficulties by having like a chick is like the, you know, the head of the thing, head of the group, the small 2-person group. But you get some weird stalkers out there, man. So we get some weird stuff sometimes. So we have to be extra careful to kind of not share our location too publicly. Especially if it's somewhere we want to go back to, because some people get real obsessed, man, and they're willing to go to extremes that other people would not go.
Come back around. That sounds like something a lizard
person would say.
Did a lizard person write this?
Mhm.
Oh gosh. Butterbeans.
I'm going through some of this stuff. It's funny that I just don't even want to put it up on the screen now. Anyway, I'm
gonna change my nickname to Butterbean, I think.
Butterbean?
Yeah.
Butterbean.
Ain't nothing wrong.
All right. What do we got?
Now, okay, if you guys want some maps of like some sightings and stuff like that, the Bigfoot Mapping Project is a great resource.
Yeah,
for
Bigfoot
that.
Mapping Project. That's what I want.
We actually use, when we go into a new area, like when we went to the Uwari, we had never been to the Uwari. It was our first trip in there. We started our research at the Bigfoot Mapping Project. That's where that was a good starting point for kind of developing a research plan for a new area that you go into. And that's a good way to kind of find areas to start. If you're just starting out in this kind of work, that's a good place to start. Where are these sightings? And they kind of compile a lot of different resources for the Bigfoot Mapping Project.
Well, here's my thing though, is that I'm always looking at it like this, that maps, BFRO reports, everything like that, it's such a small sliver of the big picture.
For sure.
That statistically you don't know, because again, a lot of people that have encounters never report them to anybody. They don't ever report them to anybody. They may not even tell their friends or family.
But it's a good starting.
And if they, exactly, that's what I'm getting to.
No.
So it's, let the man speak now. We started watching, what's it called?
And that's why I put cults in the title, because we're going to talk about that.
Oh yeah. So anyway, so it's a very small sliver of the what's really going on out there. And again, like Jesse's talked about before, that one of the things that goes around is, in order to have something that you read on the internet as far as a Bigfoot report, there had to be a Bigfoot there had to be somebody to see it, and then there had to be somebody to report it to that then shared it to everybody else.
That's a lot of that's a lot of levels in the funnel.
And even a lot of the organizations that take reports don't share everything.
Like BFRO is famous for
cut out the weird stuff,
excluding reports that have weird.
But here's the deal: you at least know something happened there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? As opposed to going in blind to an area, so they still have some. They may not show you all of the hot spots, and it may not even be an accurate representation of how hot that spot is. But something happened there, so you know that there's at least been some sort of activity there, which is a good start off to.
Lady Wolf, knife check.
Knife check.
Let's go
Actually,
ahead.
I had mine.
We're an hour in. Let's do our knife check.
I have a Work Tough Gear Puzon Wilderness. This is the 7-inch version of that giant 9-inch one that I usually carry in the woods. This is a smaller, more belt-friendly one. So, love those damn things. So,
I have a Condor Mini Hudson Bay. I got this on the way to our second trip to the LDL. We stopped at Smoky Mountain Knife Works, and I like Condor knives. They're made in El Salvador, and they're solid outdoor knives. I believe this one was designed by Joe Flowers. He's an incredibly nice guy. I have several knives designed by him. He's an incredibly nice guy. That
survival instructor.
Instructor, and really into machetes. I got a Vipera machete from Condor. Condor are solid knives. I mean, they're solid knives. So if you're looking for something, and they're not super cheap, but look at the spine on that bad boy. But they're not like super cheap, but they're definitely reasonable. They're worth what they cost. But if you want to get into a really good, solid outdoor knife, Condor is there. Condor's great, and anything by Joe Flowers is usually a good practical design.
Thank you, that PCX. Somebody gets nicknames. Thank you for that, buddy. We appreciate it. Thank you. Jesse and Joe, what would y'all's dream investigation be? I'd be willing to help kickstart that just to see your spin on it. We have talked about a few places. What's yours? I know what mine is.
What's yours?
I think at this point I've been thinking a lot about it. Getting into Portlock, Alaska, with a certain somebody. I'm not going to mention.
I was about to say the name.
I'm not. I don't know if he wants that public. But
okay.
Getting into Portlock, Alaska with a certain money would be my dream investigation.
Yeah, I really
the
like
logistics on that would be troublesome and it'd be expensive, and it's finding out how to actually go about that, because I know some of that's native land and we'd have to try to get permission to get in there instead of just sneaking in. So, but that would be my dream one to go into.
Crawl on our bellies in the cover of night.
Yeah. So
Portlock would be amazing. I think that there's been a lot of people who have looked at Portlock. Obviously, there's been shows about it. There's been
Alexander was up there, I think.
There's been documentaries about it. But I think our spin on it would be interesting. I think that I haven't seen anybody really take kind of a cross-spectrum paranormal approach to it as well.
Yeah.
You know, I think that would be interesting. I'd love to go to Alaska, of course.
Thank you for that, Pork Chop. So, our boy Not Today is in here. He was actually in town when we got sick. We missed him. So, excuse me. Says that they've officially admitted they've created artificial DNA. More organoid intelligence. Yeah, man. And that they're admitting that. What else have they done? So, all right. But that would be my dream right now. So, Spectator Bob says hire a group of professional ex-military bodyguards. Nope, wouldn't need them. Nope, wouldn't need them. But we would have a few people with us.
Select individuals.
D. Neal, don't be upset with me if this has been done or asked about, but have y'all ever thought about trying to investigate the Bell Witch Farm here in Tennessee? We went to the Bell Witch Farm and just did the little tourist thing that we did there.
Went to the cave.
And I think we told this story before. And before we go any deeper, we do have the world's premier authority on the Bell Witch Cave in our chat right now.
We do.
Deuster Edwards, who's literally written the book on the Bell Witch Cave. And
you could say he might be the bell of the ball. Show's over.
I don't know. Anyway.
So
we went there and did the little tourist thing. We just went there and paid the money and took a tour with a few other people. And we were talking to there's a family that runs it. We were talking to one of the daughters of the family that runs it. And just talking to her about what we do and everything like that, you know, and just we didn't really talk too much about it. We just mentioned that, you know, investigators, we look into weird stuff. And she asked, well, what's the name of y'all's group? We went Hellbent Holler. So we went and did the tour, and we were actually getting in our car to leave. She comes running out of the office going, hey, I got to talk to y'all. We stood out there and talked to her for like, I don't know, half hour or something like that. So, because there was some other weird stuff going on around out there. And she had looked at our YouTube channel while her sister took us through the tour. So they do allow groups to tour, to investigate in there. It's pretty freaking expensive. I don't know if I'd I don't know if I would pay money to investigate there. But if the opportunity presented itself, yeah, we'd love to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because here's the deal. There's weird stuff going on underground in that cave. There's weird stuff going on above ground as well. And a lot of people go in there and take tours. And Stephen Taylor, I think, went in there with twice, I think, with an investigative group. But if they were to give us access to go in there with just a small group of people and research it, oh hell yeah, absolutely. You know what I'm saying? So I think we bring some stuff to the table that has not been brought to bear down there. So
Kapsky says, do you check into the Bigfoot radioactivity? How will you protect yourselves?
Well, I mean, we've found trace levels of radiation.
Nothing dangerous. We've never found dangerous levels of radioactivity going on. I think the length of exposure wouldn't be that long unless it was insane doses.
Yeah. And we have excuse me.
Potassium iodide
tablets, to shield your thyroid gland and everything like that. We actually have those back in the emergency kit with some other weird kind of emergency stuff. But we do actually have that just in case. We have not been exposed to anything that I would consider dangerous levels of radiation as of yet. And then Bristol's going, like to see you guys do Waverly. Yeah, I do some of those places. And you know what? I understand
you can pay to go and investigate.
We probably would, because again, here's the deal. I understand that maintaining these places costs money and everything like that. So maybe, yeah, we would. I wouldn't be adverse to paying to go to somewhere like that. You know what I'm saying? Because these places cost money. I mean, we're well aware how expensive the investigative aspect of this is. Now, could you imagine trying to maintain a facility for people to come in and
not die
in? So I understand that costs money.
Or not be like murdered by hobos that get in there. So they have to like do fencing and all that stuff. And I'm sure there's like a enter at your own risk clause and everything like that. But you know, we don't do a lot of classic ghost stuff. We really focus a lot on cryptids. But you know, maybe in the coming years we might expand out, and which it's fascinating to hear you actually say, well, you know, I'd like to do that maybe. That's leaps and bounds difference from you a couple years ago.
But my whole thing is I'm not saying that I agree that it's ghosts that you're interacting with. There might be something there. I don't think it's the spirit of a dead little boy from the 1920s. I think that there's something there, but I just don't know if it's ghosts. And Dewey, if you're in here, Marcus Aurelius wants to know, is the original John Bell cabin still there?
I don't think it is.
Anyway. Would kill y'all to hit the like button, by the way. Seriously. Cavsy had said y'all have been sick in the past. We have had physical effects after some investigations, but we have not, like the night we saw that UAP portal thing, we checked ourselves for radiation when we got home. We didn't have the Geiger counter with us. We had gone in kind of stripped down. So the first thing I did is we got home, I checked us, I checked our boots, I checked our backpacks, checked everything. We did not have any.
What is weird though about that is like we didn't have any residual radiation, but after we saw that thing open up in the woods, the portal, the light, the UAP, whatever it was, that night on the way home, my face was burning.
Yeah, you got really flushed. Your face
I got very
red.
flushed. It was very hot. It was very strange, but I don't know if that correlates. You know.
So. All right, folks. We're not going too terribly late tonight, just because otherwise y'all are just going to be hearing me coughing for the last 30 minutes or so. So, anybody else?
Please, sir, you got any more likes for me? Suki's showing 175 likes. Y'all are doing better.
All right, awesome.
Improvement.
Yeah, that beacon does have a tendency to have an effect on Jesse there. Where the Sploot had asked, have your experiences altered your perception? What was your most profound experience?
Yeah, I think that the more we've done this, it seems like the more it's coming around. I've always been sensitive to like paranormal stuff. Stuff has happened to me my entire life. And I think the more we're kind of searching for it, it knows that you're looking and it looks back, you know. Profound experience. It's nothing that we've ever documented. My most profound experience, or like most earth-shattering experience, was very personal for me. So I don't really want to discuss it right now.
Mine was seeing that thing that we call the burning light, the UAP, there's been a couple of them. I mean, again, I guess you could say as a whole, because I started off just flesh and blood Bigfoot.
Because that was honestly, really like legit, like physical, like
that was like
class A, I'm seeing what I'm seeing kind of thing.
Weirdness ramped up to like 11. But
yeah.
I got into this. I thought it would be interesting because she had far different beliefs and interests than I did. And we were going to kind of join the two, you know, her belief in more of the paranormal and the interest in the paranormal, and mine just physical Bigfoot stuff. Dogman, a bunch of bullcrap. UFOs, probably something going on. Don't really care. I mean, you know, it's outside my realm of being able to investigate. Not really into the paranormal or anything like that at all. So there have been gradual baby steps all along that have turned me into the weirdo that you see before you today. You know, that's far more open to the weirdness that's around us all. Catching that thing on thermal in the LDL was a big kick upside the head for something that I had been mocking up until that moment, that then I'm just like, oh my God, it's real. That was weird. But when we had that experience with that light in the North Georgia mountains is what kind of changed it for me. And it's weird because I was talking to one of our members the other day, and they just asked me like a weird out of the blue question. They were like, hey man, what are you really into other than all of this stuff, this paranormal, cryptid, UFO stuff, the high strangeness? What are you into? What really, you know? And I just went, honestly, nothing now. You know what I'm saying? I said, this has become pretty consuming, and we constantly feel that we're behind the 8 ball. We constantly feel that we're playing catch up, and the overall topic is so big and it's so immense that I understand why people haven't been able to prove anything, because the topic is just so strange and it's so large.
And you could actually understand why people have been just driven to madness.
And I'm just going divorces, and I don't really read for pleasure anymore. I'm constantly, like, I read that when I was sick, I was reading for pleasure, just because I needed something to take my mind off it. Mm-hmm. And the whole time I'm just going, God, I could be spending this time reading one of the 100 books that I've got backlogged to read at this point. But I was just going, sounds kind of crazy, but that's where it's at. That's where I'm at with it. And then I'm just like, I bet you thought I was going to say, like, I play golf or something like that, right? But no, it's just everything was leading me in that direction. But after that thing in North Georgia where I just went, I don't know what we saw. I don't know if we saw a UAP. I don't know if we saw a portal open up. I don't know what those figures were. I was already thinking this whole thing was weird. And now I'm just going, it's so much weirder than I originally thought it was. And that's when
you have definitely opened up a lot more since that experience. You've definitely kind of made a big shift in how you look at stuff.
And Martin's the same way. See, I no longer hunt, seldom fish. My entire time is spent investigating reports of the beasts. When I do look at other stuff, like outside of this immediate topic, it's to how to further this topic. Mm-hmm. It's stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It's just like my reading list is just, my Kindle app here real quick. It is just stuff that, okay, the 8th Tower, John Keel, Operation Trojan Horse, Black Swan Ghosts, The Cryptoterrestrials by Mac Toney, American Cosmic, The Golden Bow, Poltergeist Parallels and Contagion, Index Tracking, Animal Tracking Basics, Man Tracking and Law Enforcement, The Ecology of Souls. Just, that's what I spend my time doing now. So, but I mean, it all ramped up for me after that Burning Light thing. That's the one that kind of changed me. And it kind of took it from being something I'm really interested in, really, really into something that's basically just, and I even said, it's not healthy. It burns you out. And a lot of times you equal parts love it and hate it, but it's where you're at. You know what I'm saying?
It seems like a lot of stuff we did pivoted, and the experiences we had started to kind of pivot at that point too. Seems like that was some kind of, maybe not a turning point, but maybe turning a corner. Yeah.
Here's your question.
Yeah.
There's the Deucer had it. So, but for me, that's what it was. It's just, it took it from a mild obsession to like a major one. And I keep thinking that maybe it's going to kind of like tamper down, but no, it's just literally, and think about us, even us. I mean, we're like a married couple. What is most of our conversation throughout the course of the day? This, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's just pretty much, like we launched the memberships and everything like that. People that were kind enough to help us kind of keep this going. We've been spending it on equipment. We needed some replacement stuff.
Upgraded some of the stuff that we had so that we're kind of moving into another phase.
Jessie had posted, she's like, I'm like, what do you want for Christmas? She's like, I want a camera for these interviews that we're going to start to launch.
Yeah.
So literally, it's not like we're going to golf resorts or going to the beach or anything like that. Literally everything we do is involving around this. And for me, at least, it ramped really into high gear with that burning light. So, all right.
Let's touch on cults just for funsies here before we call it.
We watched when we were both sick.
We watched Escaping Twin Flames
with
Universe.
That cult, the cult where you find your twin flame. It's on Netflix. Yeah. Has anybody here seen it? And if you have seen it, mention it in here real quick.
Yes. So just a quick synopsis. There is this online cult called the Twin Flames Universe, where this couple claims they can help you find your twin flame, your soulmate, the person you're supposed to be with, but you have to pay them to take these classes.
Like $2,000, like a class. You know
which is done through Facebook groups. They don't even have like their own server or anything like that. They're doing it through Facebook. And
basically they just berate you.
They just berate you
on like these like live chats that they do.
But it's basically like the melding of a cult and a multi-level marketing scheme.
And when I did that thing earlier, when I was like, "Let the man speak," that's what that dude says. He always it's the craziest freaking thing ever. It's like absolutely nuts. We're watching it and we're just going, "This is wild." People are actually like, these people have subjected themselves to it. And what's crazy is that the guy's even going, like he'll show his people that are paying him like $2,000 a pop to take these courses. Like, here's my $100,000 like Porsche that I just bought. Thanks guys.
Yeah.
And
he's got like this 3-story house.
And he's just also mean to them all, man. But it's crazy. So the thing is just you find your eternal flame. There's a person out there that's meant for you. That's your flame.
Twin flame.
It's your twin flame.
Yeah, Megan Fox and her weird boyfriend had that like phrase that they used for each other.
Well, people sign up, they spend all this money on it, and nobody's finding their twin flames. You know what I'm saying? So
and it's mostly women. Get involved in this.
So then they were like, well, your twin flame is another member of this group. Well, they don't have enough women. So then they just started pairing women together. Going, you're now the man, you're now the woman. Yes, this is what God has told us.
Yeah. Oh, and he positioned himself as God.
He positioned himself as God.
Because you can get like tax breaks positioning
as a church
of religion.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
it's wild. It's wild.
Absolutely wild.
Only 3 episodes. It's a good watch. So we're happy to announce that we're starting the Hellbent Hallelujah Club.
No, I said it was gonna. I was just like, I said, this is a crazy grift. Look at these people. And I was going, do you know what we could do with this money? We could get a helicopter to take us into these weird areas. And I was like, we'll call it. So it's the twin flame universe. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
And I was going Hellbent Holler, and I was like, ours will be the flames of hell.
Jesus. We're not gonna be able to start a religion with that today.
Hey man, we're gonna have to get
It's not going well. Oh God.
Oh, Ray's. Thank you for that, Ray. We appreciate that. We'll put that towards our $100,000 portion. And I enjoy watching investigations and the thought process that goes into them. Look forward to 2024.
That was a terrible laugh I just had.
That was a very bizarre laugh.
That was a bizarre laugh for somebody who may or may not have. No, I don't have a question. I have a 12-year-old Subaru.
So, anyway, we appreciate that, Ray. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, Ray. That's awesome.
Thank you.
But yeah, that was pretty wild. I'm fascinated with cults. One of my favorite things in the world was the Heaven's Gate cult. And I listen to Art Bell all the time, and I just got through 1997, which is when the Heaven's Gate cult off themselves with the passing of Halley's Comet. The Hellbop Comet.
Mm-hmm.
And they supposedly ascended to the comet and rode what was in the tail. So they were blaming Art Bell for the Heaven's Gate cult offing themselves, Marshall Applewhite and everything. So it's just fascinating to see this cult of personality thing that forms with these things. And these people are so low quality, but then they just convince these poor lonely people to give up everything they have.
They were, and it was crazy because the guy was even going, he goes, people tell me that I can't afford it. That's bullshit. He goes, I've got people that are living on their parents' couches, paying me $4,000 cash. And I'm going, people are hearing that and they're still going, sounds legit. Let me sign him a check over here.
Oh, what are you doing?
Nutslap says, I need a mink coat. It's funny because when we launched memberships, that's something we thought about long and hard. Of course, we talked about cults, and then we're like, let's talk about our cult. We launched memberships, and people were like, hey, we want to help you with the project because we were going to the point where we can't do it by ourselves anymore. And we had people just going, you guys are grifters. And we're going, no, we're really not. We just don't sit around and talk about it. We have equipment. We have this and this and this. We're not doing it. Anything we get goes back in towards the channel, And we were going to, the next week, though, after we got a couple of those grifter comments, we were going to come onto the live stream with fur coats on, top hats, monocles.
The cat in a butler uniform.
Good God.
Oh God!
But yeah, that's crazy, man. And what's weird is
at the end of the series, it said that since the pandemic, there's been 10,000 new
cults
that have sprung up, and I'm like, what?
What's even funnier though is is that Vice News released an article basically saying this dude's a cult leader. You know what I'm saying? So he had, what the downfall was is that didn't really do much to him. He had his main people. He was like, he made them read a couple of books and watch a couple of movies, and then each of them had to write an essay paper on how the head of Twin Flames was not a cult leader.
Yeah.
He made them watch like other cult leaders and then go, now write an essay to me on how I'm not a cult leader. And his main people just went, holy shit, we're in a cult. Because this is the same stuff that these people went through is what we're going through right now. And then they all left.
It was the beginning. It was downfall. Susan C has a 2007 Suzuki with almost 400,000 miles on it. I had a Suzuki, it wasn't a Samurai. I wish I had a Samurai.
Yeah. I
had a Suzuki in New Orleans that sold with me to pay for a moving truck.
Watch out, Express says something here real quick. He goes, y'all need to watch a true crime series on the H streaming service. I don't even know what that is. Called Wild Crime Blood Mountain. It's pretty scary considering how you guys investigate.
Wild Crime Blood Mountain. We'll check that out. I think that's the Hulu.
Yeah.
Is the H network. Blood Mountain. All right. Wait, was that the guy that off the AT trail hikers? You remember that? Do you remember when there was a guy just like whacking at people with machetes on the AT?
No, hold on. This is Georgia missing hiker case leads to a serial killer who's stalking people in national forests.
Oh, good God.
It's on Hulu.
Okay. All right. We'll check that out. Well, that's not going to freak us out about what we do. Don't have to worry about the Bigfoot. Worry about those psychopaths.
Is this Gary Hilton? Pork chop, if you're on here, is that Gary Hilton? Is who they're talking about?
Sam Burton. Of course, Sam Burton. Jesse, I've been interested in cults since 1976. Seriously, one famous one said they took a hit out on me in 1986.
What?
Weird stuff happened. These groups can be really
All right, when we start doing Ghetto Yeti, just a real quick side thing. He goes, I wish you guys would have come on Furs after starting membership. What's weird is we were just like, listen, we're going to keep releasing the same stuff. It's just some people want to help out, keeping the project going.
Yeah.
Because we're, again, like Jesse said, we drive 20 and 12-year-old cars, and
yeah, Joe's cars.
all of our cash is going to just the project, and it's getting to the point where two people can't sustain it anymore. We might have to wrap it up. People wanted to do memberships. We did memberships. We're eternally grateful and transparent about what we do with everything with it. But somebody got really ticked at us. And I was just like, you guys are just going to be living the high life. And I'm just going, that's when I was going, we need to come out with top hats, monocles, dress the cat up in a butler outfit. You know what I'm saying? So.
This Busty T. Shackelford hat?
Anyway.
It's Versace.
Bristol said, 5 more years, that 20-year-old car is a classic. I was actually going, I want to bring it a classic.
I think you can get like discounts on insurance for
Probably
it.
so. So
probably because it'll cost like $85 to reimburse you for it.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Oh, that is the Gary Wayne Hinton. Or Hilton.
Hilton, yeah. So, all right, okay. Cool. All right, good deal. All right, guys, we're going to wrap up in 3 minutes. If anybody's got anything that they want to add. And like I said, we're thinking about doing, if there's interest in it, if nobody wants to do a Christmas show, we'll probably still do a Christmas show. But if some of y'all are looking for like an escape from family craziness, or just because maybe.
Yeah, we'll be doing that December 25th, Christmas. So we'll be doing that. I think it'd be a good time.
That's when we've got it, because the cat butler has his own butler at that point.
Oh. He just rings a bell and asks for treats.
The Southpaw says he's got a 2012, or she rolls down one hill, can hardly get up the next. So.
Marcus Aurelius is asking what's on the grill tonight. I'm making beef roast. I actually have it in the Ninja Foodie, so it's done. I just gotta dish it up.
People are super excited about the Christmas show. Well, here's the deal: is that this sounds like something a cult leader would say. I got ready to say it, and I went, "Whoa, that sounds pretty cult leaderish." Is that
now you're going to be very self-conscious about what you say that sounds.
No, I don't care, because I think I'd be a pretty good cult leader if I had just applied myself more.
You should have.
Yeah.
You should. You should.
If I just applied myself more, we were just going. It'd be awesome to kind of spend the tail end of Christmas with everybody. So
Yeah, I think that'd be fun. That'd be a good way to kind of decompress and
Yeah.
relax. But yeah, we'll be doing a Christmas show. We're excited about that.
So he's working 16 hours on Christmas. Hopefully you can
Put your headphones
put your headphones in and
we'll give you a laugh. Jerry Faust made a cheesecake. Now I'm jealous. The Cult of Joe. He'd come up with a better.
What a pretty good cult leader, I think. You know what I'm saying? So,
you need something snappier than the Cult of Joe.
No, that's not. That's just, that's what the inner circle knows me as. Every cult's going to have an inner circle, So.
Joe's hose.
Grace, Joe's doing a good job, but if he just applied himself a little more, he'd have a cult.
That's a t-shirt.
Yeah, exactly. So. All right, guys, we're wrapping up.
You're just not doing enough, Joe.
Alex Buttercup just popped in. We mentioned you earlier, man. Your ears were burning. So, anyway, we are.
Are we in a cult? Marcus Aurelius is signing his cardboard box over to us. See, that's when we know we've made it.
There we go. So, all right, guys, we're wrapping up. Thank you all for joining us.
All right, thank you for joining our cult. We appreciate it.
Yes.
I want you all to look in the mirror and think about all the bad things you've done and how you've disappointed me today.
That was part of the thing the cult did.
Yeah.
They had to have mirror time. And basically, if you had a complaint about somebody, you had to replace their name with you. So if you went, that dude's a dick, you had to sit down and look in the mirror and go,
I'm a dick.
I'm a dick. That guy is being extremely rude to me. I'm being extremely rude to me. And they would, anything that you would complain about with the cult, they would go, sounds like a block. Sounds like you blocked yourself.
Yeah.
You need some mirror time.
You need some mirror time.
Mirror time. You need to sit in front of the mirror and talk about how terrible you are to yourself. Oh, that's awesome.
So I want you all to think about how you've disappointed me today. No. Oh, Jesus.
Anyway, all right. We're dragging my sick butt out of here. Jesse's going to have that video coming out this week.
Yeah, so Wednesdays for members, the video will be out. I'm thinking like 6 or 7-ish. I don't know. I'll set it. It's done. It's ready to go. Joe gets to watch it tonight.
Gotta get my final seal of approval.
He has to give a seal of approval in the final video. He's going to watch it tonight. It'll be out on Wednesday for members. And then we are going to do a live premiere on Friday for everybody. So Joe and I will be in the chat for the live premiere, probably about 7 o'clock.
Members, watch it on Wednesday and then join the chat on Friday.
I'll put a thing out because I have a cool little preview for it too. So I'll be sharing that little teaser trailer for it, and I'll give you guys times for the live premiere on Friday. So that'll be a lot of fun. So everybody come and join us for that Friday night. Good way to kick off your Christmas weekend for a spooky, weird mountaintop cemetery investigation. We get a lot of weird noises. So if you guys want to join us for that, that's going to be a lot of fun on Friday. And Suki asked, how come we can't gift membership on here? I don't know, but I will look into that.
Yeah, because we were actually trying to we thought we could like do some and then it couldn't, but Jesse's gonna make a note. We'll actually reach out to you, Suki, and let you know directly. YouTube's still figuring a lot of this stuff out because we wanted to try to do a premiere for members and then a premiere.
And they don't have that yet.
And then do another. So we're going to do members and then we'll release the exact same video on Friday for everybody.
So keep an eye out for that. Y'all have a Merry Christmas. We'll see some of y'all on Friday, most of y'all on Friday. If you know what's good for you, if you don't want to disappoint me and Cult Leader Joe.
And if we get enough people on it, we might hop on a live afterwards.
Do a Chattalootsky.
And just do a Chattalootsky about what people thought about it. Because it's a wild video. It's some weird stuff happened out. One of the good things about, again, doing memberships is we're able to field some new equipment. And the camera we're fielding with the microphone picks up some good stuff. Picks up some good stuff. So we
added a good microphone to the camera.
We added a good microphone to it.
So we'll figure out.
Yes, we're looking at it. So
we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Holler's Gate.
So
I have a
hold on. Chris Lindberry says click the $sign at the bottom left to be a member. Yeah, she wants to gift a membership.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. So
we'll let you know. But thank you guys so much. We'll see members. That'll be out Wednesday. We've got the Discord going. Joe's dying. And then we'll be releasing that. We have a live premiere on Friday. And then Monday, we'll be doing a Christmas gathering here live. So you guys join us. We appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. We're happy to be back. We're happy to be alive. Happy to be functional. So we just love love the pants off of you guys. You guys are the best. This has been a lot of fun. This has actually made me feel a lot better. But yeah, thank you guys. We're gonna eat some dinner, get some rest, and hopefully Joe feels a little better in the morning. But you got Joe Robitussin. That's what we're just gonna call him, Joe Robitussin. Joe Robitussin. But thank you guys, and I've got to set this up because I don't have this set up. There we go. All right. Thanks, guys. We appreciate you. We'll see you later. We're going to play that freaking awesome song that Joe picked out for the outro here. All right. Y'all take it easy. Have a good night and see you in a couple of days.